A little about education.
Two pigeons are sitting there, one is pecking the other on the head, and the second one has ruffled its feathers but stays silent, putting up with it. Must be a husband. Joke. Frankly speaking, I don't like to be brought up. When I was a child, I was brought up by my parents. At school, I was brought up by teachers. At work, I'm brought up by the chief. All my relatives, friends, and acquaintances can't live quietly if don't give me any valuable advice. All surrounding persons know how I have to live and what to do, as though I don't know it myself. And that's let my wife alone in general. All my family life is nothing else but the continuous educational process. The wife constantly brings up me, while cooking in the kitchen, while watching TV. Even while going to sleep, she manages to give me a lot of instructions that are useful in her opinion. It is good that I got used to it and give no heed to all this educational process. But the prospect of reading my thoughts do not please me a lot. For a minute I presented that my wife is able to read my mind, and I felt the willies. Next day everything was, as well as yesterday. I am sitting in the subway, but thoughts screw me up. I didn't manage to think about anything as I heard a familiar voice again.
Well, we continue? But it isn't necessary to think that I have a poisoned tongue and am on your back.
I have even felt at a loss hearing such statement. He not only reads my mind, but also thinks for me. My interlocutor thus cheerfully burst out laughing. Have you ever heard the ghost laughing? Personally, I haven't ever heard. It was even impossible to call it laughter in habitual understanding, but I knew that the teacher was laughing. However, many things happened to me for the first time. Now I know that my teacher has an excellent sense of humor. But at the beginning of our acquaintance, I couldn't even imagine such things. Everything was unusual and surprising for me. Every day brought me a new opening. Now I have already looked differently at many things. Nothing casual happens to be. Everything occurs under laws and rules. It is easy to explain difficult things if you know these laws and rules.
Invisible communication.
In the subway, I reflected on how it is possible to learn something from someone whom I don't see.
We are connected with you with the help of the invisible threads, wires, communication channels.
I saw into communication a little since it bore upon my work. I began to visualize schemes, wires, computers, and other technical details. But all that was an achievement of human thought and hands of the person as I thought at that time.
You represent everything correctly, but you can't see devices and computers.
Why?
Your sight is arranged so that perceives light waves of only certain frequencies, and we have other frequencies which the person can't see.
I also show a little discrimination in frequencies, therefore ask the following question. And what frequencies have you got there, high or low?
Very high. On Earth, such devices which could catch our frequencies aren't created yet. We can't be found still, therefore people can't communicate with us.
And why do you communicate with me?
Yes, you are very curious. You would like to know everything, concern yourself with everything, even that things that aren't necessary in your life. And as you are my ward, common questions arise at you constantly, so at last, I decided to educate you a little.
After these words, I was captured by a certain pride that I would recognize something that is unknown by my acquaintances, colleagues, relatives.
First, you are not the Humpty Dumpty. Secondly, you are curious. And thirdly, you are simply pleasant to me.
It was also pleasant to me to hear the last phrase. Long ago nobody told me the like of that. And will it be possible to tell others what I discuss with you?
Turn would come, and you would not only tell others, but also you would write the book.
From an assurance of the teacher that one day I would write the book, I cheered up completely and went home with an expression of pleasure on my face. Next day, I will have already been waited for the dialogue with my teacher when I only approached the underground. Only I had sat down on a free seat as I heard.
The first thing you have to acquire is that there is a world habitual to you, in which you live. It is visible or material. And there is the world invisible and non-material or thin material. I'm out in such world. Your world consists of atoms and molecules. You learned it at school. Our world consists of energy. The visible and invisible worlds are nearby. We are in different measurements, therefore the inhabitants of our worlds don't disturb each other. The fact that our world is invisible to you has no value. For us, our world is as real as your world for you. The second, the invisible and visible worlds are connected among themselves and dependent from each other. The visible world can't exist without the invisible world, but also our world depends on your world. We supervise and operate you from our world. The third, once, a very long time ago, I was the same person as you. I passed a long way before got to this world. Time would come, and you also would get here.
Such revelations surprised me.
I allowed the existence of the parallel worlds, but it was difficult for me to believe that we are supervised constantly by those whom we don't see. Though I have to admit, the invisible world was pleasant to me at once. That's really wonderful. It isn't necessary to go for work, to shop. Your children won't wreck your nerves daily. And that's not to speak of potato which grows in my dad's vegetable garden. Have you ever grown up potato? Never. Do you think that potato can be found only in a supermarket? In that case, you simply haven't seen life. Come to visit me approximately in September, and I guarantee that until the end of your life you would have unforgettable impressions. However, I distracted a little.
You are so naive. Do you think I do nothing here? Come on. Your potato is simply an entertainment in comparison with my work. Our work doesn't stop 24 hours per day. We work without days off and holidays. Besides my heavenly duties, I have to watch that nothing would happen to you ahead of time, to bring up you periodically, hip you. It is good that you are rather obedient, or I would be appointed to follow up any alcoholic. There are only problems from them both on earth and at our place. Imagine, I am engaged in the heavenly affairs, and the alcoholic under care got drunk himself to stupor and goes home. His eyes don't see neither cars nor trams. I should have known better than to take the ward home, having thrown all my affairs. Have you ever heard of such cases?
I have not only heard about such cases, but also have been familiar with such characters. While they are sober, they are normal persons. As they got drunk, they lost their memory. I have always been surprised how could manage such person to get home safe and sound in such condition.
And now you won't be surprised, since you know that such useless person is taken home by his heavenly teacher.
And is it impossible to refuse such careless pupil?
Frankly speaking, we wish we won't be busy with such ward, but we have a high call of duty and high responsibility. Therefore, who has been appointed, those we should conduct on life, till the program won't end.
What program?
Till the life program won't end.
I didn't manage to ask the teacher about the life program as he told.
Arrived.
Unexpectedly for myself, I saw that the train really approached to my station and passengers leave the carriages. As it always has been, it stops at the most interesting places in soap operas, I thought.